My name is Tyler Kern, and this is my God story. Usually the first thing people notice when they see me is my beard and my hair, and it's what I use now as my conversation starter. But the story begins all the way back in 2008, and my stepfather was misdiagnosed. He could have had 5 years saved on his life, but his doctor misdiagnosed him with colon cancer, and it ended up spreading to his liver, and he had liver cancer. So by the time they discovered it, he was already diagnosed with terminal cancer stage 4, and they basically told him if he didn't do chemo radiation that he was only going to have 1 year to live. So this was an emotional and traumatic time for my family, and being my stepfather, he wasn't, my real dad, but he didn't have any kids of his own, and he took a big interest in my life, so we really had this bond and connection that was very strong, and this was just sad news to me. Well, he decided to do something different. Instead of doing chemo radiation, he decided to make a bucket list, and he bought an RV, and he took my mom across the country crossing things off their bucket list. After a while of time, he got too sick to travel, and he was on hospice. So he was no longer able to travel, and he kind of had to cut his bucket list short. And it was actually the last conversation I had with him. It was Father's Day weekend, and I was with him, and he was just so withered away and frail looking compared to the strong, muscular guy that he was. And I was just really upset, and I couldn't understand why something would happen to such a good person. So I asked him, I said, why you? This isn't fair. Why did this have to happen to you? And he looked at me and he said, why not me? He said, I lived a good life, I have a great relationship with God, and I'd rather let someone else have more time to find that. What I didn't realize at that moment was that he was speaking directly to me. I was the one that needed more time to find that. And shortly after, a week later, he passed away. And I was going through pictures and videos of him to make a tribute video for his service. And I found a picture of him in his 30s with a big grizzly beard. And it inspired me to grow a tribute beard in his honor. So my goal was just to go 1 year without shaving. I'd never tried to grow a beard before. At this point, I don't think I even could grow a beard. So it was just a 1 year experiment. And after a year, I just felt like I wasn't ready to let it go. I was still kind of mourning his death, and I decided to keep it going. So a year quickly turned into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm actually standing here 8 years later, and I haven't seen my chin. And it was ironic because at this exact same time, beards became cool. Duck Dynasty became the hit show that it was, and everywhere I went, everybody said something to me about my beard. Hey, I like your beard. And what that did, it opened that door for me to share his story, to share his testimony and how he brought me to faith, to have a stronger relationship with God. So it wasn't immediate in that conversation, that first conversation, or that last conversation we had. It wasn't an immediate drastic change in my life. But shortly after, I had kids, and I was raising my kids, and I wanted them to be raised in the church as I was as a kid as well. And it was important to me to continue pursuing this faith. And every time I look in the mirror, I think of him, I think of what he said to me. And now what has become my story. So everywhere I go and people that I meet, when they say something about my beard, what I do is I share this story with them, and I inspire them through that. So I've been inspired to create a film, a Christian-based film that shares my story, and is ultimately how I've come to discover my purpose in life, which has culminated with me making the decision to go to seminary and to become a pastor. So honestly, I just hope that my story can inspire other people as well, because no matter what happens in your life, negative things will happen, and that's just how it is. So you can always look at your life as the glass half full or half empty. And if you take a negative situation and you look at it and say, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? Why did I get pulled over and get this speeding ticket today? Why did I get in a car accident? Why did I get diagnosed with this disease? It just is a negative vibe. It's a negative situation, and you won't be happy. You won't be content. You won't be at peace with what happens in your life. But if you look at it and you say, why not me? And you turn it around and flip it into a positive, even when something negative happens to you, the people around you will be inspired by your positivity and your outlook on life. And they'll ask you, why is he so positive? And then you can explain to them, I'm positive because I have faith that Jesus will return and he has saved me. And that's pretty much, yeah.